Hey everybody, I am so excited to introduce you to Dr. Dan Ritchie. Dr. Dan Ritchie is with the Functional Aging Institute, and he is my coach, he's my mentor, he's my friend. My husband calls him my boss. He says I hired a boss. And you know, I couldn't hire a boss until I became teachable and really able to see the needs in our community and do something really radically different to make a difference. And these guys came into my life. I won't go into that long story, but I really just want to introduce you to Dr. Dan Ritchie. This is an interview, and if you'll just hang with us, I don't know how long it'll take, but hang with us. There's a lot of good information here. But basically, Dan, I've heard you speak a lot about the functional aging training model, and I talk about the functional aging training model in community presentations on functional longevity, but I want them to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. We are in Texas, so I can say that. But can you explain that training model and why it is so important, the functional aging training model for people over 50?
Yeah, the FAT model, as I like to call it for short. So it's the best FAT model you'll ever have. Really what it is a series of principles that Cody, my co-founder, and I have looked through years of research. And so we say, one, we got to look at the evidence. We have to look at what does science say is working in terms of functional movement, functional aging. What separates people that live really well to 100 versus people that wind up in a nursing home in their 70s. But then we also have to bring in the actual practical, applicable, live experience piece. So the functional aging training model combines what we call the best of the evidence, the research, the science, with the actual hands-on thousands of clients we've worked with around the world, to actually have a model that says this is how people over 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old need to be trained so that they can function at a high level. And so it shifts from a fitness training model to a function-based model, right? How do people move better? How do they have more confidence? How do they have more balance? How do they have more strength? How do they have more longevity? How do they do all these things really well across their lifespan? And so what is the training model for that? And so we try to break it down into a variety of principles, but in simplicity, we say, okay, there are about 6 domains that people really need to train as humans as they age, so musculoskeletal, neuromuscular, right? My neurological connection from my brain to all of my muscles and organs, cognitive, emotional, we've got balance, we've got mobility, stability, and then we've got a cardiovascular component. And then each of those 6 components, of course, has complexity. But when we look at what does it take for a human to function really well, we want to design all of our fitness, our personal training, our physical activity, everything that we're doing for our clients around that model.
Cool. Yeah. And so what, in your opinion, is the number one benefit, or in your experience, really, that most fitness programs are not delivering for clients over 50?
Yeah, it goes back to our favorite word. It's function. So the biggest thing that the vast majority of fitness programs are missing is function, right? So the fitness program might be great at developing strength, might be great at even developing cardiovascular health, right? And those are the 2 common ones that people focus on, right? Well, we're going to do a walking program or a cycling program, or you're going to take this group fitness class, or we're going to put you through a strength training regimen, which is going to get you stronger. And really, the research shows time and time again, those 2 domains by themselves, and in most fitness programs, are not designed to maximize human function. And so people get more fit, they get stronger, but they don't actually get more functional, right? They're still having trouble climbing stairs. They're still having trouble carrying stuff. They're still having trouble moving well. And so in its simplest, most fitness programs are not designed with the outcome goal being functional movement improvement. And that's really what we're about. We want people to move better so that they can live better. And if they're living better, they're going to move more. And if they're moving more, they're going to live more. They're going to enjoy life more. And it becomes a very positive trajectory to be on.
Yeah, we get so many clients, new clients coming to us, and they've either been overtrained, they've been undertrained. I mean, when you live to be 50, you've had a lot of experiences, and I know in the 2.5 years or so that we've been practicing this model, that it really does kind of meet it in the middle. We can get them in, we can assess them, and we can take them even in a small group where they want to go. The small group. You know, when you say the word specialized, I love being specialized. I mean, I feel like I've earned it. 20 years in this industry, I have earned the right to be specialized. But when you say specialized, I think that translates to expensive for a lot of people.
Right.
They think it's not affordable.
Sure.
So I really love that your model also includes small groups of 3 to 6 or 4 to 8. Can you talk a little bit about how you've trained us, to be able to do this small group model so effectively?
Yeah, well, I think because we have a mission of serving over 10 million aging adults in the United States, and that's going to grow much larger as we expand. We're now in 18 countries. It has to be something that the vast majority of people can afford, right? And one of the downsides of one-on-one personal training, sort of the traditional, original personal training model, is it's expensive. I mean, it costs a lot to hire a quality personal trainer for a half hour or an hour session because it's one-on-one, right? I mean, just like going to a chiropractor or a physician or a physical therapist, it's not cheap to get a half hour of attention, right? And so the small group personal training model actually allows us to make it far more affordable, so far more people can afford personal training. But I actually think, and I'm just about convinced at this point, that small group personal training is as effective, if not more effective, than one-on-one personal training. Let me say that again. So if you're paying for a personal trainer in a one-on-one setting, you might actually get better results, a better value in a small group personal training model. And a couple reasons for that, and we're starting to study this at the Functional Aging Institute, is the group dynamic, the socialization and the social interaction, and the confidence, right? When I train individually all by myself, I don't have as much confidence built because I'm not comparing myself with 4 or 5 or 6 other peers, right? I don't have other people encouraging me. I don't have other people benchmarking me. I'm also not getting the social interaction, the social engagement. Sure, I'm engaging with my trainer, but I don't have 4 or 5 or 6 other workout buddies, which is essentially what they are, right? They're like teammates, right?
Yeah,
so it's sort of like participating in a sport all by yourself or on a team, right?
Right.
And so small group personal training for sure makes it more affordable, more cost effective, but I think it actually makes it more fun, it makes it more social, and I think the results can be even better than one-on-one. And so I think it's a great model for training people. And I think, here's the thing, if you enjoy something, right, if you actually enjoy hanging out with your workout partners, then you're going to stick with it. It's going to become a habit you never want to quit, right? As opposed to, I got to go to this appointment with my trainer, and it becomes a grudge, right? It's like, oh my goodness, I'm going to try to survive another training appointment. Whereas if it's, I get to go work out with my friends, right, and my training buddies, that's something you want to do week after week after week, and that's a real positive.
And as we've added groups, in fact, we added 3 more groups this week, so we're running around 55 small groups now, and they just really love each other, and they've gotten to a point where they trust that they can jump into other groups if they need to do makeup sessions or whatever, and count on the same quality, the same caliber of interested individuals. We even jokingly say, well, you can be a member of the knee club or the shoulder club or the I can't balance club. And so we just have a lot of fun with all of that. So as we wrap this up, Dr. Ritchie, what would you say is the number one thing that makes this program different? Just if you could just summarize that, and then just the Functional Aging Institute. So, what is your mission? What is the message that you're trying to put out? Especially, I want my clients, I want my prospects, I want my friends in this community to be able to tell their doctors about the Functional Aging Institute.
Yeah,
so
sure.
That's 2 things there.
Yeah, I don't know if I can give you just the number one thing, so I'll try to give you 2, because I probably could give you 10. But
I'm sure.
One I like to give it in the concept of a story, and And I don't know how old you are listening to this, right? I don't know if you're 55 and you're super high functioning. I don't know if you're 75 and you're starting to, feel your age and maybe think about, oh my goodness, I might have to use a cane. I don't know where you are, but the reality is, you don't really even know what's around the next corner, right? And so I don't know what opportunity is going to come your way in the next 5, 10, 15 years, but you may be called on to do something amazing in your 80s, maybe in your 90s, and you need to be physically ready for that. And so we have got to be thinking about taking care of our physical health on a day-to-day basis, because we have no idea what might be in store for us 10, 20 years down the road. So I always like to give my grandmother as an example. In her 80s, she was teaching English as a second language in Pakistan. Now, I don't know how many people listening are like, oh, I can't wait to go to Pakistan to teach English as a second language. Probably none of you. But the reality is, I don't know what opportunity is going to come your way, and you don't either. And
not really to interrupt, but we just had Hurricane Harvey.
Yep, I was going to share that.
Wiped out a couple of, and I mean, it has been a physical endeavor for people.
Absolutely.
All ages.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know one trainer in specific in Houston. He told me, and he's an amazing story in and of himself. Here's a legally blind personal trainer whose studio gets flooded. Now, can you imagine if you're used to your studio because you're blind, and now your studio's flooded and you have to renovate and repair it? And he said, but I have clients coming to me saying, I need to be more physically ready because I needed to be able to climb into a truck. I need to be able to climb out of a bedroom window. I need to be able to do all these things, right? Yeah. Not to mention how many of you are rebuilding your communities, right? And if you're not physically able to do that in your 70s, then you miss out on an opportunity that has come your way. So I just tell people, the one takeaway is you need to be doing personal training, functional training, so you are ready for the next opportunity around the corner, and you may have no idea what that is. The other big takeaway that I always tell people is we have bought into a lie about aging that can be completely different, right? We've bought into a certain age, right? And I know people listening are like, oh, well, 70's old, or for some people 80's old, and for some people 90's old. We bought into a lie of what it means to grow old in this country. We bought into a lot of hype and a lot of concept that growing old is a bad thing, whereas growing old can actually be a beautiful thing. It's a normal thing, and you can do it in a very healthy way and continue to enjoy life each and every day. But a big piece of that is how you function. Right? And so if you're moving well and you're feeling well, then it doesn't matter if you're 72 or 82, right? It really doesn't, right? So age is just a number. How you're feeling and how you're moving is a much bigger determination. And then your bigger question on the Functional Aging Institute, well, I'll tell you, Lisa, it's been kind of exciting. We've grown to 3,000 trainers now in 18 countries. And I expect to see that double in the next year or two. But here's the bigger picture of that. The exciting thing is what we know is the average functional aging specialist is impacting about 100 clients on a yearly basis. So I know at your studio you're impacting more than 100 clients on an annual basis. But if we just say the average trainer is impacting 100 lives and we start to think about 3,000 trainers, that's a lot of people that are being impacted that are going to be aging better, moving better, functioning better. And that helps everyone, right? It's not just that the 75-year-old is functioning better, but guess what? The 75-year-old is now a better father, a better mother, a better grandfather, a better grandmother, right? They're able to take trips with their grandchildren maybe they thought weren't possible. And so they're a better member of society. They're able to continue to contribute and have purpose and add value. And so it impacts thousands more people than just those individuals if we think about how many lives each person touches. So it's a really kind of overwhelming thing when I start to think about how many millions of lives we're changing.
Yeah. Oh, I am just so excited to be a part of this opportunity. I know one of the statistics is that we will have a population explosion of active 85-year-olds in the year 2030.
Yep.
400%.
Yep.
I mean, when I was 54 years old, when I came to you guys, you told me I could work 20 more years.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and there's a little hesitation like, wow, do I want to work 20 more years? But 20 more years, making a difference, impacting other people's lives, and leaving a legacy, I'm in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, 75 training 95-year-olds. I'm all over that. I love the idea of that. So anyway, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so